What's up, guys? It's been a while since I talked about Mass Effect, and I really miss talking about it. So I figured, why not talk about the Mass Effect Foundation comic? I've had all of these comics ever since they were released, so for quite a while now, and I never made a video on them, so I was like, it's actually a 13-part comic series, and it's the longest out of all the Mass Effect comic series. At first, I thought they were kind of like the Homeworld comics, where each of them was going to be about a specific character, because if you look at the covers, I don't want to show too many because I'm going to be making a video for each of these. So there's going to be 13 of these videos, so they're not going to be that long, which is something that I want to do. I want to have some videos on my channel that aren't freaking 30 minutes long or like 15 minutes long. So these are going to be a little bit shorter, especially this first one, because this first one, there wasn't too much going on because it was the introduction, but it's not like the Homeworld comic like I thought. But I'll show you just a few of the covers. See, there's Rex right there. Sorry about the glare, it's still in its little thingy. There's Miranda and Jacob, Jack. So like I said, they have almost all the comics have somebody that we know on the front cover. So I was like, oh nice, their backstories on these characters, kind of like the Homeworld comics, but it's not like that. There is obviously a cameo, you know, there are cameos, but there is pretty much one main character, and all of these characters you will, if you've played the games, especially the DLC, specific DLC, I don't want to give it away just yet, but a specific DLC, you will know all of these characters, especially the main character. So let me talk about the first issue of the Foundation comic. It says, stand for something, join Cerberus. So I'm not going to go too much into detail when it comes to the story, because like I said, there wasn't too much going on. It's mostly just setting the stage for a specific piece of maybe a personality of this main character. It starts off with this young boy on a mining asteroid near Themis, the main supplier of materials for the construction of Arcturus Station. And this is 2161, 3 years after the first contact war. So we see this young boy, and we get the idea that he's not treated very well. He's most likely a slave, so a laborer in this mining asteroid. And then we meet pretty much the main character, I think, this lady. She says her name is Brooks. She arrives to this station looking for somebody by the name of Roth. We don't know who this is or what the hell, but I got the idea that this is most likely some kind of Cerberus person that she's looking for, obviously, because of the whole Cerberus thing in the front. So that's pretty much what the comic is about. Her looking for Roth. And the boy following her around. She uses the boy. She pretends that the boy is her son, and she's like, okay, pretend that you have a stomach ache, so that she could get into the hospital, because that's where she heard that Roth was. She ends up finding somebody, but this guy is not Roth. He actually turns out to be one of Roth's agents, and then you find out that this lady, Brooks, is actually an agent of the Shadow Broker. She wants Roth to transfer some money to Bar-Levan, the Volus, which if you've played Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2, I think Bar-Levan has been mentioned in all the Mass Effects, actually, but he was actually in Mass Effect 1. He pulls out these, like, freaking Wolverine claws, and starts slashing at her, which is interesting, because I was like, okay, well, why isn't it like an Omni Blade or something? But it's like, oh wait, this is 3 years after the first Contact War. Omni Blades were not existent back there then, so it was cool to see that backtrack in technology and not have it be like, oh really, they existed since then. So they get into this huge fight. The boy is not here, by the way. She left him in the hospital, and she sneaked in dressed up as a doctor to give Roth his medicine. But they end up fighting. Roth gets hurt, she gets hurt, and then the boy comes in and is like, mommy, and she gets the advantage on this guy. She asks him for some information, asks him where Roth is, and then she ends up killing him. After this, the boy just keeps following her around, telling her, you have to take me off the station, you have to take me with you. And she's like, no, I'm not gonna take you with me. I don't trust anybody, I don't work with anyone. He's pretty much begging her now to take him. Because he doesn't want to stay here anymore. He says there's no life for me here. I don't have my family. And so he really does not want to stay on the station. Then she finally has enough and she's like, no, go away. You know, she's shooing him away. And she tells him, you know, why you shouldn't trust people. She's like, the reason I don't trust people is because they could be used against you. She's boarding her ship and she's like, good luck, boy. And then she gets shot in the back. And she falls and the boy is holding the gun and he says, I'm not a boy. Turns out the boy is a girl. He boards the ship and tells her while she's dying or pretty much dead, says, I thought I could trust you, but I know I can't now. So she leaves and we find out that the boy/girl is actually Brooks from the Mass Effect Citadel DLC. So this is the end. She joins Cerberus here, and she says her name is Rasa. This is most likely the Elusive Man. You know, you've got your iconic cigarette right there. And he says, why Cerberus? And she says, I guess I want to stand for something. So that's her joining Cerberus. That's the first comic of Foundation. So mostly this comic follows Rasa, or as we know her, Brooks, from the Citadel DLC. So she does appear in all of these comics, along with these other characters that we all know and love. So I will be talking about each of the comics in one of these videos. Next up is the second one, which has Rex on the front cover, and it says, "Take the galaxy by the quad." So that's Mass Effect Foundation issue 1. These were written by Mac Walters. The first one was released in 2013, was it? Yeah, July 2013. Wow. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of these videos. Are you interested? Do you think it's something that you're going to enjoy? When I first saw this character, you know who I thought of? I thought of Mara Jade from Star Wars. That's who I thought of. I don't know why, but she just looks like Mara Jade. She looks like she has like a lightsaber or something. I was like, whoa, she looks like a Jedi. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.